Well, thanks for joining me for this episode. Um, Let me ask you a question. If you knew that your financial planner had their own financial planner, would you be concerned? How about if your financial therapist had a financial therapist? Or your therapist had a therapist? Would that give you some discomfort? Years ago, I confessed to my clients that I had a financial planner. The reactions that I received fell into two categories. The first was best summed up by the question one client asked me, should I be worried? She was wondering why on earth her financial planner needed a financial planner and whether that was an indication that I was incompetent. The second response was just the opposite. And one client remarked, wow, that's a pretty strong endorsement of your profession that you think so highly of your services that you seek them out from a peer. Well, like with anything, there's a lot of emotion involved with both knowing that your professional has a professional that provides the same services that they do. And there's a lot of emotion involved with the professional that is obtaining services in the profession that they practice. So I just wanted to explore that a little bit. And I'm going to mix some of the research that I've done together, especially on planners having a planner. We know that research has shown that having a financial planner improves so many financial outcomes for clients. For example, having a planner has been linked with having an emergency fund, being aware of fees and investment costs, regularly rebalancing their portfolio, never carrying a credit card balance, making payments on time, having no debt. And with all of this benefit, this is researched, evidence-based outcomes. CNBC found that only 1% of the sample they surveyed had a financial advisor. Now that's pretty amazing. It's probably even less than that of planners having planners. So, when a planner has a planner, what is it? Is it a confession of incompetence or one of confidence and wisdom? Well, obviously, I think I fall in the latter category. And taking it a step further, I would be very concerned if my financial planner didn't have their own planner. I would also be very concerned if my financial therapist or my therapist didn't have a financial therapist or had never done financial therapy for themselves or didn't have a therapist. Now, research shows that financial planning results in increased emotional and financial well-being, and that includes financial planners in that. I don't have any research at my fingertips that would show that doing therapy for therapists increases well-being, but I don't think it would take a whole lot of work determining that it's a big positive. So when it comes to financial planners having planners, you would hope that your financial planner would be capable of doing their own financial planning, right? But in reality, it's no more true than saying physicians should be capable of taking care of all their family members, their own medical problems, or attorneys representing them in court, or therapists doing their own therapy, which inherently is an oxymoron, right? For example, the American Medical Association holds that physicians shouldn't treat themselves. Therapists often need just as much, if not more, therapeutic support than the average person. And Abraham Lincoln once contended, if you are your own lawyer, that you have a fool for a client. So why then are so few financial planners clients of another financial planner? And I don't have a lot of data on financial therapists. If a financial therapist, if their home discipline is in mental health, in other words, they have a master's in mental health, I think there's a high percentage probability that they have done or do their own therapy. I think I saw statistics saying 84% of all therapists have at one time done their own personal therapy. Interestingly enough, only 13% of graduate programs require therapists to do their own therapy. But I think when it comes to a financial therapist whose home discipline is financial planning, has a master's in financial planning or a CFP, I think there's a much lower probability that they have a therapist, an even lower probability that they've done financial therapy. Now, why would I say that? Well, that's because it's pretty unusual for a financial planner to have a financial planner, unlike therapists having a therapist. So why the resistance? Why don't most financial planners believe that financial planning will increase their own emotional and financial well-being in the same way it does their clients? I could ask the same question. Why do most financial therapists not have their own financial therapist and not enjoy those benefits? I mean, does this mean people that have a home discipline in finance and financial planning, are they hypocrites? Well, I think the short answer is that the number one reason financial planners do their own financial planning is that they believe they can do their own financial planning. Ironically, the reasons that planners don't have planners are not unique, which kind of surprised me when I did some research on this. A survey by the Wall Street Journal of the reasons that the public doesn't have a financial planner are similar, almost exactly the same as the reasons that financial planners don't have a planner. And I suspect a financial therapist probably, if their home discipline is in financial planning, they probably don't have a financial planner, falling into the same assumption they can do their own financial planning. If a financial therapist's home discipline is more mental health, I think there's probably a higher chance that they have a financial planner. So this is just, it's a little confusing. I mean, imagine if your doctor refused to trust their personal care, the care of a family member, to another physician, or refused to see a specialist. What if your attorney, a specialist in estate planning, insisted on representing themselves in a divorce or criminal proceeding? Or if your therapist confessed that they had never done their own therapy, how confident would you feel in their care. Well, like I said, when I surveyed well over 40 financial planners back in 2008, I found that 87% did not have a financial planner. And that's despite spending their livelihood purporting the importance of having a planner to their clients. So the stats are just opposite for therapists having done therapy. So why? Why are financial planners not clients of another financial planner? What is the resistance? Well, the first, we know when someone resists doing something that we're moving too fast. And we've got to hang out and find out what the underlying issues are. So with a planner that believes that they can do their own financial planning, there's a part that probably feels some shame in the fact that they need another planner, or that they have to engage someone else to do their planning, because the message, the money script is, if I have a financial planner, that must mean I don't know what I'm doing. And like I said, with other disciplines, this is kind of crazy thinking, but for some reason, financial planners have a real block, an emotional block, or being stuck around having their own financial planner. Now, I haven't done a lot of research on this, but I do have a hypothesis on why so few financial planners have financial planning and feel they can do it themselves. And that is that 80 to 85% of all, quote, financial planners, end quote, earn a portion of their income from selling financial products, selling insurance, annuities, mutual funds, private REITs, things of this sort. So for them, if you say, well, you need your own financial planner, they will frame that with, why would I want to go buy products from another financial planner? This makes no sense. I can buy them without the commissions, or at least I can get the commissions. This is crazy. Well, that makes perfect sense. That if that is what financial planning is to me, if that's how I earn my living in financial planning, selling things, why would I want to give away the sale of stuff that I would buy for myself to another planner? So somewhere between 15 and 20% of planners are fee only, meaning they don't earn any income from the sale of any type of product. It's all fee for service. Their clients write a check for that. And I suspect there's less resistance with a financial planner whose compensation model is fee only. So I think that's the biggest reason. And that probably would be some fascinating research if you are a researcher who listens to the podcast. I would love to see your research on that. And when we look at the personal benefits of a planner having a planner, they're just incredibly impactful. Some of the most obvious personal benefits are that a planner has a blind spot, just like their clients. We all have financial and emotional blind spots that we can't see. And that's one reason why it's so helpful to be in relationship with another person. You know, the old adage is we can't see the forest for the trees. And it's so true. An objective opinion can be significantly helpful, even to a financial planner or a financial therapist. Another thing is that if a financial planner is married, has a significant other, a partner, and they in addition to that, have kids, and that planner's doing the planning for their family or their significant other and dies suddenly, their spouse, their partner, their kids lose their financial planner. And that's a really bad time to lose your financial planner, because in the death of a partner is when a financial planner can really, really help support and pick up so many pieces and hold so much of the data that can make going through that a real hard time of transition just a little bit easier. And I know when I used to speak a lot on this, and I would be heading off, my wife would say, you know, please tell them the relief that it brought me when we got our own financial planner, knowing that somebody else knew all this stuff. Another thing you find is that planners doing their own financial planning, and again, I throw financial therapists in here that are doing their own financial planning, are usually the last client on their list. They rarely are a priority for themselves or their staff. I know I tried to do my own planning for years, and I had 100 clients, and I was number 101 on the list of priority. It never happened. I mean, for years, I didn't even enjoy the same, what I want to call scrutiny and detail of our investment policies and the asset allocation, because we just never got around to doing mine. Now, fortunately, we've automated lots of stuff, and I'm on the list now. But it's kind of like the cobbler's kids not having any shoes. And there's huge professional benefits for a financial planner being the client of a planner. And that's the experience of sitting on the other side of the desk, becoming a client of a planner. And I'll tell you that this experience enlightens and informs a planner of the emotions and psychologies of being a client in a manner that reading a textbook will never get to. And it's also the same for being a client of a therapist or a financial therapist. I can absolutely attest in the IFS informed financial therapy that I do with my financial therapy clients that I have over or into my 6th year of doing weekly IFS sessions with my IFS therapist. And I can tell you that 50% of the things that come up in an IFS informed financial therapy session were not trained in the IFS training. And having been a client and still am a client of a therapist, it so phenomenally informs my effectiveness with my clients that I couldn't even fathom not doing my own IFS therapy. Another benefit of planners and financial therapists who are clients of another planner or financial therapist is that they get an inside look at another professional's practice. Professionals spend a lot of time going to conferences and attending panels of professionals and asking questions. How do you do this? How do you do that? There's no substitute for actually being the client of a financial professional and really getting an inside look on it, at their practice and how they operate. So it makes a whole lot of sense for a planner or a therapist to engage a planner or financial therapist that they emulate, that they really respect. In that way, they kind of get a twofer, right? They pay one fee, but they're getting both personal benefit and professional benefit. Bob Varies once interviewed me on the idea of planners having planners. And he wrote in his piece that a planner having a planner is one of the best pure practice management sessions he's ever attended in the profession. And went on to go through all the benefits of a planner having a planner. And yet, so few actually follow through and do that. When I speak on planners having planners at professional conferences, I can guarantee it's not going to be highly attended. In fact, it's been a while since I've been invited to speak on planners having planners. So it's important. It really is. And it's so important that finally the CFP board has recently added the psychology of financial planning to their exam topics and just released a 6-part book called The Psychology of Financial Planning. I was honored to be one of the, I think there's 8 authors of the book, and wrote a couple chapters in that. So I am really happy that the board has signaled to their practitioners that they need to be able to effectively help clients explore their underlying thoughts, feelings, and beliefs about money. And the best way that a professional can do that is to go on their own journey of self-exploration and do their own work. Another interesting piece of research that I recently came across that I'm also involved in writing a white paper on was some research that found that students who that were in a financial planning program that had some sessions with a financial planner and actually did some financial planning themselves, and I don't mean for themselves, that they went to a financial planner, just had a significant positive shift in the way they viewed financial planner and their excitement in becoming a financial planner, because it took away a lot of the unknowing, the black hole of what is it like to do this thing called financial planning. And in fact, I think all but one in this particular survey decided, yeah, I really want to be a financial planner now. This was so amazingly helpful. Interesting, there was one who said, after this experience, I have decided I don't want to be a financial planner. And I would suggest that was not a failure, that was a huge success. So when you are looking for a professional, when you're looking for a financial planner, when you're looking for a financial therapist, and even a conventional therapist, one of the questions I would include for them is, do you have a financial planner and a therapist, especially a financial therapist, right? Because that's such a big continuum. You've got everything from the nuts and bolts of financial planning all over to taking a look at trauma in your life that may be showing up in money and how money behaviors. So I think it makes tons of sense for a financial therapist to both have a financial planner and a therapist. It might not make a lot of sense for a financial therapist to have a financial therapist who, say, wouldn't be a licensed therapist. So they can balance that out by having a financial planner and a therapist. But those are questions I would absolutely be asking any financial therapist that I would be engaging. And if the answer is no, I would ask why. Tell me more about that. So do not be alarmed if your financial therapist has a therapist or a financial planner or a financial therapist. In fact, I think you can be happy, and that can be a great sign of the wisdom that they have, the fact they understand they have blind spots, they understand they need support, they are putting themselves on the list, they are actively engaged in the same self-care that you as a consumer are going to them for. So I hope you've enjoyed this and have some takeaways. And I will look forward to being with you again next week. Take care.